Why are you copying A New Hope? Why can't you just do something brand new? Why don't you develop your characters? Why do you have characters here with no development whatsoever? In the original trilogy, they had character development. You copied the original trilogy, but even the original trilogy you were copying has more nuance. So what was the point of getting rid of the expanded universe? Copying the original trilogy if you weren't going to take from the original trilogy and do something unique and new with the style of it. You don't just plagiarize and copy the story beats. Then there's no point in getting rid of the expanded universe if you were just going to duplicate the original. You could have taken from the original and did something new with it. So, then here comes Rian Pretentious Johnson. Now, I'm sorry, let me at least give you some hinters at what he did right. Looper is a masterpiece. He is one of the most innovative filmmakers of our day. And the throne room scene is excellent. Also, some of Kylo and Rey scenes in The Last Jedi are great. So it baffles me that he did one huge thing that caused great chaos in the Star Wars universe. He did not research the Star Wars universe that he was making his film for. When you make your own movie, it doesn't matter. You use what inspires you. But when you make a film from someone else's creative work, motherfucker, you better do your research. And did he? No! This man did not research his information about what Star Wars is. Think about KOTOR 2, Chris Avellone, also co-writer and I believe co-creator of Fallout. He wrote the Interplay Fallouts. He also wrote KOTOR 2 with Obsidian. Now, what is the first thing you think he did when making this game? He did his damn research. He did a critical assessment of the Star Wars universe with information about it. He actually knew what the fuck he was talking about, Rian Johnson. You go on and on about how it's your creative vision, but it's not your story. You're continuing someone else's creative work. And you didn't think, maybe I should research that world and universe so that I would know what I'm talking about. How can you make a critical assessment of something if you didn't even do your research? That's the problem with Rian Johnson. Yes, he is a great director. He directed Looper. That movie is brilliant. However, what the fuck was he thinking when he handled The Last Jedi? Not only did he disregard the lore and rules and universe, but he made Luke contemplate killing a kid over a vision. Instead of him, I don't know, have Luke just talk to the poor kid instead of wanting to kill him. It's not like he saw Vader in his sleep and tried to kill him. Plus, Kylo is young. What were you thinking? Then Luke is doing something, or contemplating doing something, really bad. So you defile his character just for shock value. When all you had to do was wake Kylo up and say, hey, what's wrong? Why is the darkness surrounding you so? Let me help. Doesn't that match episode 6? Doesn't that sound more like what Luke would do? But even excluding that, fine. Luke changed over the years. Don't you think? That off-screen change, so great, he's willing to kill a kid, especially after sparing Vader. Don't you think that's kind of extreme? That's your way of showing him change? No! You overdid it, and you know it, and it's like you did this intentionally. It's supposed to be a deep critical assessment on the franchise. Let's look at Luke for a sec. In Return of the Jedi, he saw good in Vader, a man who killed many innocent people. He still saw good anyway. So why? With a vision of what Kylo would do, he didn't even do it yet. See, it set him off like this. A critical assessment, my ass. You didn't critique anything. That's character assassination. Because Luke would never demonstrated wanting to kill over a vision in the original trilogy. He tried to help Vader, and he actually saw Vader do bad things. We all saw it. He didn't see Kylo do anything, yet he only saw it in a vision. And you expect me to believe that he's willing, or at least contemplating, killing him now? And then, people like Rian Johnson wonder why people hate on his film so much and call him pretentious. He is, because his reaction is, there is not a single thing wrong with his film. People asked him in interviews, is there anything that means any singular thing wrong with your movie? And this dude actually stated, no. How could your movie be flawless? Dude, you're the only one saying that shit, aside from sequel fans who praise him for what he did. And even they admit that it's not perfect. No one says that episodes 1 through 3 are flawless. And no one says the original trilogy is flawless. So why are you saying that your movie is flawless? Because if you're saying there's nothing wrong at all, that's exactly what you're stating. You're portraying Luke's character by having him go through a character shift off screen, I might add, without explaining it in the story. Thus, it's hard to believe he would contemplate killing a child who didn't even do anything yet. That's crazy! You wanted to deeply assess the Star Wars universe by burning down thousands of years of knowledge just to say some simplistic bullshit about, ooh, Faye is the greatest teacher. Dude, did you have to spit on the entire legacy just to say that one thing? And it's a simple concept. It's a very simple concept. Yes, Thayer is a great teacher. Do you need to burn down ancient ruins of Mesopotamian or Native American texts just to learn such a thing? Yes, Thayer is a great teacher. Do you need to burn down ancient ruins of Mesopotamian or Native American texts just to learn such a thing? No! And you had Yoda do it. After Luke stopped, he couldn't even do it. That says a lot. Maybe it shouldn't be done. Nothing wrong with your film, huh? Then you'll hear some stupid shit from sequel fans and Cosmonaut. And Cosmonaut stated, I have an exposed episode on him in the works, don't you worry. However, he stated in his video, defending the sequels, that The Force Awakens, much like Stranger Things, didn't have original ideas. So why get on The Force Awakens for the same thing? Holy shit, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, because motherfucker, Stranger Things has tons of original ideas. It takes inspiration from E.T. from the 80s and multiple 80s movies like The Goonies. It has a unique story with different fucking characters. That is disingenuous and inaccurate. YouTuber Goldman does this same bullshit in a different way. More logical and seemingly reasonable way, but it's the same disingenuous thinking. Ooh, making up stories about the new trilogy, denouncing other projects to put up the new trilogy. You denounce Stranger Things just to put up The Force Awakens, and it's a lie. Unlike The Force Awakens, which I'm admitting to you all, I actually have a soft spot for, because it was at least fun, something I didn't feel from the other films. However, despite this, Stranger Things has unique storytelling elements. Elle is unique. Her story of how she escapes the government facility, her powers, and the friends, and what they go through is also unique. And you will not find it even in the movies that inspired it. If you take a look at the elephant in the room, A New Hope, you will find tons of the same shit that you already experienced, instead of taking these things that inspired you like Stranger Things did. The 80s, old school movies where kids were the main characters and do something new with these things, like Stranger Things did. So that is disingenuous. That is a disingenuous lie. Stop spouting that nonsense. You are falsely spreading information about an important and unique story because you don't like the fact that people denounce The Force Awakens. It's okay to like these new films. It's okay to like the new trilogy. But to lie and say, oh, Stranger Things wasn't original is bullshit. Yes, it was. And it just had inspiration. Unlike The Force Awakens, which just copied and didn't do anything new and relied on nostalgia. Oh, and slammed nostalgia down your throat every 5 seconds as if it was afraid that people wouldn't know it was Star Wars if they didn't do that. There's a difference between taking inspiration from something and just duplicating and copying. Not the same thing. Try again, Cosmonaut. You're not slick. I'm gonna have you on the next episode of Exposed. You keep this up. This is what's really annoying. Then there's this. Ew. It can't possibly invalidate the previous movies because it's its own story. You can suck this, and you know what I mean. First off, it does in fact invalidate the previous movies because it's in chronological order. So if you contradict what happened prior in a new movie, and it's supposed to be in that same canon, you just retcon it. That's a retcon, which is a contradiction to the plot and story that came previously, which invalidates what came previously. This is why people who are getting more informed on Star Wars are talking about authenticity and canonicity. Now, what is canonicity? It's one timeline, one order, one canon. You contradict it later in the timeline, the previous movies in that timeline cease to make sense. Because how is this possible when prior to that it was established? I'll give you the perfect example. Luke. Prior, he was hopeful and learned a lot. He wasn't perfect, but he cared about people. He then spared Vader, the most evil man in the galaxy. Now all of a sudden he contemplates killing his own nephew, instead of just talking to him like he did Vader. And unlike Vader, he didn't do anything yet. This is called a character contradiction, and this contradicts episode 6, thus invalidating it. That invalidates the previous movies and his character in one go. That's why you need to be loyal to the world's character and universe. If you're going to have Luke change, it must be either developed or explained or built on in some way. None of this was present. They just added that here at the heat of the moment. Or The Force Awakens. How did the Force Order get everything back? The Empire. Didn't the New Republic take over? So why are they all armed? Luke. This immediately invalidates episode 6 once again. They won, took over, had land, territory, and money. Where did it all go? How could they get all the resources back and the New Republic basically loses the resources again? Contradicting the timeline, contradicting the canon, the canonicity. Now, let's move on to authenticity. Being authentic to one's creative work. Guess what? This is not a problem with Marvel, as they pay respect to the source material. I'm not a fan of the MCU. However, look at how much love, respect, and appreciation they show for every damn Marvel film out there. Look at the insulting and disrespect they show towards the Star Wars movies. Authenticity. They don't care about being loyal to what it is. Authenticity is what the actual creative project is. Being loyal to it is what keeps it what it is. And they don't care, nor are they concerned with this. Hence, why they threw out the expanded universe, which has been around since after A New Hope, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Authenticity, what makes a creative medium unique from any other. What separates it from everything else not acknowledged. The canonicity, the storyline, keeping it cohesive so it pieces together, not contradicting characters or storytelling elements, so it all makes sense, not cared for. So when people complain about the Star Wars universe, motherfucker, they have a good fucking reason. They aren't just talking out of their ass. People are doing their own critical assessments of the franchise. Unlike the man Ryan, who didn't do his research. This is what I'm laying down. This is what I'm talking about. And this is Tarragon. Thank you for watching.